probably have thousands of memories I'll never forget. I went swimming in the lake every day, and that was before all the trails were there. Where there's a bridge going across the other bridge, you go across and there's a walking bridge up around. That was called a horse pasture. You know, I lived out at that lake and swam every day, and then I came into town, and no matter what, I'd walk into one store and they say, hey, do you want this, that, what do you want? You can have anything, I'll get you some lunch. If they had a restaurant, oh, your folks will be down and pay for it. And I couldn't believe how great that was, that there was never, the town just cradles you. And one of the stores here that's been here a long time, and George and Cassie Roots started the hardware store, and I went all through school with Barry Roots, and he and Rosie had this store for many, many years, and now his son has a store. And I was at the banquet last night, and Aaron Roots got Business of the Year, which was really great, and he certainly earned it. You know, he's great. So the hardware store is wonderful. The restaurants are phenomenal. I don't know what I would possibly change, but just keep it going, because it's been so, it's been a trip. And then I thought possibly because of my years that I'd be here maybe another year. And an artist walked through the door, one of the best in here, and he said, what do you mean? Well, why? I said, well, my husband and I are kind of living, you know, separate lives a little bit, and it's harder and harder for me to come in when I want to be with him. And so he said, you're not to worry. He says, I'm real good friends with 9 of the artists in here, and I'll tell you what, we'll come in either, you know, twice a week, 3 times a week, or whenever you want us to, and we'll manage the store for you so you can have the time off. And I said, great, I'll be here another 10 years. And if I make it to 86, I'll go to 96, right? So it's just a very positive thing that they jumped into to help the gallery stay afloat, because it's a beautiful place to be. So, what do I like about a small town? They cradle you. They take care of you. Everybody in Camas, whether they're newcomers or been here for years, everybody in Camas is a somebody. And that's what I love about Camas. My grandmother, Maria, played for silent movies at the Liberty Theater, but she didn't play an organ, and then opened in 1927, and she played piano, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, right? And have you been out by the lake, pardon me, have you been out by the lake, Lacamas Lake? Have you been across the bridge? Have you been to the Lake Chalet?
I think so.
It's a little restaurant on the left, going north. And on the right, there's an old store. Have you seen that old store? My grandfather built that in 1929.
Awesome.
And my dad built over 50 houses in this town. Oh, absolutely. You don't remember, but I do. I remember the winter of '48. I was 5 years old. Now that's a good memory, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything froze. The lake was solid frozen. The Columbia River was mostly frozen over. And I was sent to my aunt's house in downtown Camas because we didn't have any electricity. And my worst memory that I can remember at 5 years old was the lake store. Olga and Al Young owned it at the time. Anyway, no electricity, so they took all the popsicles and fudgesicles and they stuck them in the snow. And all of us kids were out there eating popsicles and fudgesicles, and then they took me away to my aunt's house and uncle's. It was pretty disappointing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have special memories with them? Not particularly. My special memories go back a lot further. For example, 1970, when Dennis Hayes started Earth Day. And he graduated with me in 1962 and several others in town. And so when he started Earth Day, myself and 4 other ladies started the first nonprofit recycling center in Camas in the state of Washington. And so we went to the city council, and I got a place where we could dump all our recyclables. And we were all over the paper. Channel 8 News came out, and we were just young mothers and started to recycle. So that's a really fond memory I have. And the other fond memory, we have Hayes Freedom School, and then it was about 2 years ago, Mayor Higgins was walking by. This is another thing I love about Camas. And I said, Scott! He goes, what do you want? And I said, we need to name a street after Dennis Hayes. He says, where do you want it? I said, on Ione Loop, where his school is. And he says, I'll get that taken care of. And he walks off. So I called Dennis in Seattle, and I said, hey, Dennis, I just got a street named after you. He goes, sweet. My mom's always in my head, but who really pulled me out of where I was growing up in Camas was a gal by the name of Anita Goldberg. She owned Elmer's Pancake and Steakhouses. Have you heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was the director of operations for that chain of restaurants in 5 different states. And as I say, 27 of them. I'd be in Alaska, there'd be an earthquake, up by her in Palm Springs, and I'd hop a flight and get down to Palm Springs. But Anita was the one that truly set me on my path.
For us.
That's it, make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
And you know, and own up to them and be accountable for yourself. Because no one's going to be accountable for you but you.
Yeah. Camas.
Oh, well, I absolutely feel nobody should go into Artana or Allure or Lily Atelier's. I can't stop spending my money in this town. They're
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. I love the small town feel of it.
Mhm.
And in the new area, on the 260 acres, it'll remain that.
Yeah.
And so we'll still have this small town feel.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you feel like that's changed at all, or?
Well, what's changed is when I was growing up in town, there were 4,000 people in town and 5,400 working at the mill.
Mhm.
So that changed. The storefronts have changed as far as different stores and that sort of thing. But the bones of the town have remained the same. And now there's close to 30,000 people in town and only 150 working at the mill.
Yeah.
And so what's so exciting about that is I'm on a committee where we're going to maintain the smokestacks.
Mhm.
We're going to move City Hall down in there. There's 600 acres. Buildable is 260. And with that being said, we'll do an aquatic center down there. We'll do all sorts of wonderful things. And the mill will then become a true monument
Mhm.
for the town. Do you know who built the mill?
Is it Pittle?
Pittock, Henry
Yeah.
Pittock from the Pittock Mansion. And he commandeered a guy by the name of Ledbetter.
Mhm.
And that red house is right now still out on the north side of Lacamas
Mhm.
Lake. And so, but that's how it all got started. And I'm thrilled to say we will maintain, as I say, what the town looks like
Mhm.
and not disrupt it. No.
No.
No, and why is that, and I can't say I love everybody in town, I probably don't, but we all play nice in the sandbox. And I'll have people are complaining about people from Portland coming over or from California. And I said, why wouldn't they? Everybody wants to be in paradise. And I've seen people with a lot of money walk in the store and they go, I can't believe this. It's like, well, gosh, it's like Mayberry. And I said, it is a Mayberry. What's your problem? You know, so, and everybody that comes to Camas cannot stop talking about how friendly people are and how warm the community is and what's going on. And when out at the lake, try this one, the aquatic center. Have you heard of that? And
Mhm.
it's going to be in the Buman property. Now, Wayne and Eva Buman used to own all that, you know, on Lake Drive. Or, yeah, what is that called? Lake Drive?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that property where they're going to put the aquatic center. And my dad and Wayne Buman were two carpenters in town that built many, many houses in this town. And I drove by the property the other day and I thought, God, a fabulous aquatic center. I mean, isn't this fabulous? I mean, is there anything you can think of that you'd want to change except go forward?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I love Camas.
I do too.
It's a very nice town for sure. It's just very close knit and everyone's so friendly.
It is close knit, and the people in it are lovely.